What's going on, everybody? It's Atomic back again with another video, and today I'm going to be telling you guys a story how I went from one kind of person, and that person died, and it turned into a whole different. All seriousness, though, I'm going to be telling you guys a story of the first time I ever got really fucking stoned, okay? Like, this shit, I have never been able to replicate it ever, and I probably never will unless I have something crazy in my possession, but that day has not happened yet. So let's get straight into it. Also, I'm going to be sparking up for this one, so if you guys have something to toke on, make sure you go and do that. I'm going to be sipping off of joints for the rest of the night. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what you prefer, joints or bongs. Me personally, I prefer bongs over joints any day, but this is the next thing up on my list besides the dry pipe, because the dry pipes always fucking suck. They hit way too hard, and it's never the first option. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Well, at this point in my life, I was still relatively sober, but I had dipped into the dark arts a little bit, if you know what I mean. But I was still kind of a dumbass when it came to, like, all this shit, right? But for the most part, I kind of knew how to smoke weed at this point. Now, my relationship with the green was just starting to form around this point. It was kind of like that one person that you don't really see that much at school, but every once in a while, you just randomly pop into them. I'll dab each other up, and all of a sudden, he goes, "Yo, let me show you around." And then, like, y'all have a great fucking time. That was my relationship with the green at that point. And at this point, I was hanging out with this one kid. We'll call him Andrew for the sake of the story. Me and Andrew would pretty much hang out outside of school every single day. Like during the summertime, we were like hanging out pretty much every other day, and during school, every day. Like it was without fail. And this one particular day, he was over at my house. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and it went down pretty much as you'd expect. I mean, this kid, we'll call him Tyler, he hits us up at 11 o'clock at night and is like, "Yo, you guys want to go out and go smoke?" Now, me and this kid Tyler, I didn't really know him that well. I knew him from a couple of other people that I knew at the time that I was friends with, but I hadn't really hung out with him that much. So we're texting back and forth, and we eventually agree that we're going to go smoke at the RV store near his house. Now, if we had walked this shit, we would have been walking for at least a good hour. So we hopped on our bikes and we started biking to his house. And it's basically like midnight on a Saturday, so nobody is outside. And to our surprise, a fucking paddy wagon pulls up right behind us and is kind of tailing us before pulling up next to us and is like, "Get the fuck out of the road." Low key, we didn't get the fuck out of the road at all. We kind of looked at him funny and then we kind of moved over to the sidewalk a little bit, but we were still kind of on the road because he really didn't even take his own warning seriously. Like after that, like 2 seconds, he was gone. He just tailed off. He didn't care if we were really in the road or not. He was low key there just to bitch at us. But after 20 minutes or so on our bikes, we eventually got to Tyler's house. Now, let me give you the land of Tyler's house, okay? Tyler lived at this point basically in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, okay? Like his house was basically surrounded by woods, and his driveway was like this long, just rock driveway. Like it was not paved at all. And he's not outside. So we text him and we're like, "Yo, where you at?" And eventually, like 10 minutes later, we see him throw a backpack out, which I learned wasn't even thrown by him. And eventually I learned it wasn't even a backpack, it was the kid that was just even smaller than he was, jumping out of the window with the backpack on. And then eventually I see Tyler like army crawl almost out of his window straight into the bushes in front of his house. So after they sneak out, we start walking towards the RV park. And as we're walking, Tyler realizes that he like forgot a lighter or some shit, so he walks back over to his house. And right next to the RV park was kind of like this boat store. So me and this kid who jumped out of the window first started talking to each other, like on top of this boat. And I learned this kid is 11 years old and has way more experience in the grass than I do. I was fucking shocked, okay, when he told me he was 11. Like, bro, I thought he was like young, maybe like 13 or something. Bro, 11 blew my fucking mind. But I digress anyway. Tyler eventually gets whatever the fuck he was forgetting, and then we eventually make it to the RV store. And mind you, it's 30 degrees, okay? This is the Northeast in December we're talking about, okay? And usually we would just thug that shit out and just smoke the shit outside, but this particular night, it was too fucking cold. So we eventually just break into one of the RVs in the RV store and we get to token, okay? Now, at this point, we had a bong. We didn't roll anything up, and we just had a one hitter. Now, if you've never had the discomfort of hitting a one hitter, it's basically like a dry pipe that is in the shape of a blunt where you put the weed in at the end, and then you light it, and then you smoke it, okay? And there's a little filter inside. So I eventually start taking rips off the bong. And I'm like a lightweight at this point. Like I have no tolerance whatsoever. But I was able to get through 2 bowl packs without feeling a single thing. And I was like, damn, this shit has to be some fucking ass weed. Like my first time ever smoking bad weed because this is not getting me high at all. And by like the third, maybe the fourth bowl pack, my brain kind of just switched to autopilot, okay? Like I could not handle myself. Um I had to sit the fuck down and I kind of blacked out. Like I don't remember anything after that point for like 15 minutes. According to Tyler, I was like low key passed out on the couch and randomly I would just start talking about random dumb shit, trying to start a conversation. But, nothing I was saying was really making sense, so there was no conversation to be had. And eventually, when I snapped out of my brain autopilot, um, Andrew had his phone flashlight in front of my face. Everybody was surrounding me, and he was like, "Bro, are you good? Are you okay?" And the first words out of my mouth, I'm not joking when I say this, but the first words out of my mouth were, "Sir, could you please get the sun out of my eyes?" And at that moment, I realized, holy shit, this is the highest I've ever been in my entire fucking life. Like, bro, I cannot control myself. Like, that was not words that I had thought in my brain. That was like the first thing that came to my mind. It was just get the sun out of my eyes. And they all start dying laughing, okay? And I'm like, huh, what's so funny? Get the sun out of my eyes and shit. But on the outside, I was like, ha 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 ha, just laughing along with the shit. Because in reality, on the inside, I was freaking the fuck out, okay? I had never been this high in my entire life. But we started talking a little bit, and I calmed the fuck down, after a little bit of conversation on the couch. And eventually, we made the decision that we were going to go outside and explore. So I was the first one out of the camper. And let me tell you some shit. I missed the first step and looked like I was off the fucking Zans, dude. I was stumbling. I could not stand up straight, man. That cold air hit me like a bitch, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. But we start walking around, and I don't even really remember how much time had passed by the time we got back into like town and shit. Cause he literally lived in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, right? When we get back into town, we make the decision that we're gonna smoke again, but we just gotta figure out where. And we eventually decided that we're gonna go into the back of this hardware store and do it, just because it's like there's mad scraps of wood, there's mad places you can just chill out there and just have a good time. So eventually they get to smoking because I am tapped the fuck out. I'm not hitting none of this shit. So I'm just chilling in my thoughts, was staring at the sky and shit, just thinking about life. Like I was having real introspective moments at that point. Like I was so aware of my own mortality and how grateful I was and how fucking weird it is that I'm alive right now. Cause that shit is just bizarre on its own. I personally believe that all of this, like life and shit, it just is. It wasn't created with a purpose, but we have to now find that purpose because we are alive. And there needs to be a purpose to be alive, or else there's really no point in being alive, is there? We are just one of many species that have just roamed this big fucking rock in space. Isn't that weird, too? We live on a big fucking rock in the middle of nowhere, bro. The universe is nowhere, but it's everywhere. It's crazy. These are the type of fucking thoughts I was having while I was high, okay? And eventually, Tyler's looking a little funny, bro. Like, he looks at me, he's looking mad weird, bro. Like, not weird, but he's got that face where he's just like, yo, something doesn't feel right, bro. Like, he's got that danger on his face. I'm like, yo, is something about to happen? Like, I start getting paranoid. I'm over here about to have a fucking panic attack. Not really, but, like, I was paranoid as shit. And he looks at Andrew, he's like, yo, I think I'm about to green. He throws up, like, right next to Andrew. He bounces the fuck back, and he starts, like, walking towards me. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So I get up off this piece of, like, 2x4 that I'm sitting on, and he just misses me by, like, 3 feet. And he just, like, starts throwing up everywhere, all over this shit. I'm telling you, these workers that went to work the next day were like, holy shit, this bro's stomach exploded. Anyways, we walked back to the middle of bumfuck nowhere. We dab them up, and we get on our bikes. We start heading home. And eventually, we get back to the crib, and we walk in, like we had to sneak ourselves back in, right? The fam would definitely not fuck with us coming back at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But bro, we go downstairs and the same cart from the first story on this channel is still downstairs. So we start ripping that. Bro, I got even more high, okay? Listen, it got to the point where I was so high I didn't even realize I was high anymore. That's a point where I think a lot of people can sometimes get to if you smoke enough. You literally don't even feel like you're high anymore. You're just so baked that you're hit another level. So we go to the kitchen, and of course, it had to be the worst possible scenario, no food in the goddamn kitchen. So we ended up ordering around like $70 worth of McDonald's that night. And we made the craziest food concoctions known to man that night. I ordered a crispy chicken sandwich, like nuggets, fries, put that all together. That was my concoction. Okay? Basic. Andrew, holy shit, he ordered a Big Mac. Two Big Macs actually. 20-piece nugget, some fries, barbecue sauce, honey mustard, everything you really could ever ask for McDonald's, honestly, on that order. To put into his masterpiece is all I could really call it. That shit was fucking theater. That shit was art. One bite and like a third of the sandwich was gone, bro. Like that was probably the last time I ever saw someone like make a concoction like that. Cause I've seen a lot of food concoctions over like the amount of years that I've lived on this planet, but that was one of them that's always stuck with me. Also, if you're somehow like under 14 watching these videos, I really hope you click the fuck off and stop looking up shit on drugs because you have a lot of time to be sober before you start dabbling into any of that shit. Like the first time I ever smoked weed, I was like 7, and then the next time was 12 before I started doing daily. Bro, don't go down that path. It's not worth it. Just from personal experience. But I hope you guys enjoyed that story. I'm going to be coming out with another one of these shortly after, probably like a couple hours. So make sure you stick around for that. But anyways, make sure you guys have a good night. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'll catch y'all.